Welcome back to Body and Soul right here on 938 Live. I'm Daniel Martin. Today, the Chlorella series continues, and this edition is brought to you by abeilledor Chlorella. For more information, please call 6339-5045, 6339-5045. Dr. Haresh, before the break, Nathan had called through and his wife's condition where she'd had a growth, and you related it perhaps to inflammation, you were saying. So this can occur even if you do a blood test and you find that your cholesterol levels are okay and under control?
Yes, it can happen, because normally what happens is there may be a structural defect at that part of the body, okay, that actually attracts the binding and the accumulation of cholesterol. So I really advise Mr. Nathan to probably to take his wife and to do a thorough checkup, okay, to see an eye specialist, because there may be some part, that particular part of the eye, okay, which there might be some damage, which actually attracts the accumulation of cholesterol. Because there is another condition we call xanthoma, where we see rings, okay, due to high level of cholesterol. But this is different because her cholesterol levels are normal and she's having a growth, okay, at the eye region. So basically there may be some structural defects at that part, or some damage that may have occurred at that particular part of the eye, okay, that needs some attention.
Right. Let's cross over into some of the advice you might have in terms of how Chlorella can combat cholesterol issues. Earlier on, you talked about the importance of lowering bad cholesterol and increasing good cholesterol. Is that something that Chlorella can help do for us in our diet?
Exactly. Basically, what cholesterol actually does is one way that cholesterol actually reduces the overall total amount of cholesterol, it lowers the blood lipids through the reduction in the absorption of fats in the intestinal tract. That is one of the ways it helps, okay? And the second way it helps is, okay, Chlorella has been shown, okay, there was a study done where they wanted to actually find out what is the mechanism by which Chlorella reduces the cholesterol levels. And what they actually found out is, again, sorry to be a bit technical, in the liver of the human's body, there is the conversion of cholesterol to bile acid. Okay, and this is one of the way which cholesterol is actually broken down. Okay, in the biochemical term, we call it as catabolism. We break down cholesterol to bile acid, and we know that bile acid is very much needed, okay, for the digestion and the absorption of lipid nutrients. So what actually happens is, okay, for the conversion of cholesterol to bile acid, we need this enzyme called CYP7A1, to be more technical, is cholesterol 7-alpha hydroxylase. So what actually happens is Chlorella, the intake of Chlorella will actually upregulate, will activate the activity of this enzyme CYP7A1. So once this enzyme gets activated, more and more cholesterol will be converted to bile acid. Okay? At the same time, Chlorella will also make sure that the absorption of bile acid and these neutral steroids, okay, will be reduced, okay, in the duodenum, okay, back into the bloodstream. So what is the final outcome? The final outcome is bile acids, okay, cholesterol in the form of bile acids, okay, will be excreted out together with the feces.
Right, so it's actually easier, it's better for the body to be able to excrete this kind of bile cholesterol?
Exactly, because bile is actually a form of cholesterol. So the moment your bile is excreted, so the body gets a signal, oh, the bile has become less. So the liver will start sending its messengers all around the body to collect cholesterol and to come back to the liver. Why? To convert the cholesterol back into bile again. So by this way, you are indirectly reducing the level of cholesterol in your body.
This would be a wonderful approach for things like the bad cholesterol. Would this have any impact on the cholesterol that, you know, you mentioned earlier on trans fats, for example?
Yes.
Will this help mitigate that?
Exactly, because the moment what it happens is what it actually does is mainly binds to the low density lipoprotein, which is the bad cholesterol. Now this is the low density lipoprotein. It will bind to it, okay, and it will excrete this low density lipoprotein out of the feces together.
Perfect.
And
I know we want to do this.
Studies have also shown that intake of Chlorella reduces LDL, okay, and increases the good cholesterol, which is the HDL.
Tell us more about some of these studies, Dr. Haresh. I know that there was one that you mentioned earlier on, and it's been mentioned before as well. It was on rats, wasn't it?
Yes, there was one very interesting study that done on Vista rats actually. So what they actually did was they had about two groups of rats. Now one group of rats were just fed normal diet, okay, they were fed normal diet, okay, and the other one, okay, was given about quite a bit of chlorella, about 5% and also 10% of chlorella. So what happened is, finally the results, when they found out, the researchers showed that the 5% and 10% chlorella groups, okay, of Vista rats, okay, had significantly elevated levels of fecal total lipids. That means the amount of lipids, the amount of triglycerides and the amounts of cholesterol in their feces was much more higher when compared to the rats which were not fed chlorella.
So hence they're excreting more of the bad cholesterol.
Exactly. So the final thing here, the take-home message here is the rats which were fed with chlorella had excreted more amount of fats and cholesterol in their feces. And automatically this lowered their blood or serum cholesterol.
We're going to find out more about how chlorella can have an impact on the amount of cholesterol in your diet and lifestyle and possibly be more heart healthy for you. Finding out more on the Chlorella series just ahead. This edition of Body and Soul brought to you by abeilledor Chlorella. For more information, please call right now to 6339-5045. A little bit of time left for your question. 669-11938. Get through. As we continue chatting to my guest today, Associate Professor Haresh Kumar Kantilal from the Faculty of Medicine at Masa University College in KL, Malaysia. This edition of Body and Soul brought to you by abeilledor Chlorella. So for more information, call 6339-5045. Dr. Haresh has a background in the areas of research in microbiology, medical science, and nutrition. Dr. Haresh, if we're saying that chlorella has this ability to convert bad cholesterol into bile cholesterol and hence make it easier for the body to excrete this, do we then say that therefore consuming chlorella could have an impact, a positive impact, on your heart health as well?
Exactly, because once the cholesterol is converted to bile will be excreted out of together with the feces, and chlorella also has this unique ability, okay, to inhibit the intestinal absorption of bile acids. Okay, so once this happens, what happens is the overall cholesterol level, okay, in the blood and the serum will slowly decline, will drop. That's what we want, because once your cholesterol is under control, which is 5.2 millimeters per liter, okay, the international what the categorization. Once the cholesterol level is low, okay, the frequency or the possibility of one getting cardiovascular disease will be much reduced.
Ah, that's fantastic. We want to go to our phone lines right now, Dr. Haresh, at 669-11938. I've got Chris standing by with a question. Hi, Chris.
Hi. I'm a consumer of chlorella for the last 40 years.
Wow.
I've been taking a careful concern about my diet. But every time I go for a checkup, I notice that, where cholesterol levels are concerned, the lower the LDL is always higher than the HDL. But overall, it's still under control. So I don't see where chlorella comes in here, because as a consumer of chlorella for 40 years, I should see very good results, right? But the results aren't very good to me. But to the doctor, he says it's okay.
Let's find out more, Dr. Haresh. I mean, if you're consuming this as many years as somebody like Chris has been consuming it, shouldn't you see some kind of good long-term impact as well?
Definitely.
Or are there other factors at play?
According to what you tell me, your good cholesterol and the bad cholesterol, is it still within the healthy region? Is it still within it?
Chris, are you there? Chris, you need to listen to the phone, not the radio, okay?
Yes, it is, but I always notice that hello?
Yes, yeah. Go ahead.
I always notice that the LDL is always higher than I always notice that the LDL is always higher than the HDL.
No, what I mean, overall, the HDL levels and the LDL levels, there is a categorization that you're supposed to be within the limit. And in the normal, when you come to the clinical data, there is HDL has got a higher readings than LDL. But what is more important is that your HDL reading and your LDL reading must fall within the category. So as long as you are within the category of, let's say, it is about 2.5 to 2.9, okay, and your reading is about, let's say your LDL is within 2.6, you are fine, okay? But overall, normally, the LDL cholesterol has got a higher reading than the HDL cholesterol in the biochemical report. So there's nothing to worry. What is more important is that your readings are within the range. That means you are doing perfectly fine.
Right, so that is the most important factor there, that you're within the healthy range. And you're saying that ordinarily for most people there would be instances where your LDL levels would always be greater or higher than your HDL.
Yeah, because because they all come under the bracket, and it so happens that total cholesterol and LDL, the healthy bracket, the category is higher than HDL. Okay.
Oh, so just the number is that way.
In that way, but you don't have to worry, because if your HDL is within above 1.4, 1.5, and within 1.9, that means you're doing very fine.
See, that's exactly what we want, this idea of being controlled within the correct ranges. William has a final question for us. Hi, William.
Hi, good morning. Okay, I have two questions. One is that I'm currently taking aloe vera. So I want to know what is the difference between, the benefits difference between chlorella and aloe vera. This is question one. Second question is that by reducing LDL, does it affect the nutrients delivered from my liver to my cells?
Okay, let's get to your second question first. Reducing LDL, any harmful effect of reducing LDL first of all?
No, okay, by reducing LDL, because LDL's job, okay, LDL is a bad cholesterol which goes around and builds up the cholesterol in various parts of the body. So you don't have to worry, because LDL is not involved in transporting any nutrients to any cell. So what we want is, we always want LDL levels to be low, because LDL is the one that causes problem. So if you have a reduced LDL level, you are doing very fine, because LDL is not at all important in delivering nutrients to cells.
Good to know. And finally, aloe vera versus chlorella, quite different.
Okay, aloe vera also has got some, aloe vera also has some studies have done cholesterol lowering properties, but what is the difference here is, chlorella has got an additional thing, where chlorella, I just mentioned just now, it upregulates the enzyme, the hepatic enzyme by the name of CYP7A1. Now this is the enzyme that actually converts cholesterol to bile, and once more and more bile is excreted out of the feces, automatically the liver will start collecting cholesterol from all over the body, and thus the serum and the blood cholesterol will be reduced.
Dr. Haresh, I want to thank you so much for your time today and helping us understand that the most important thing really is to stay within those healthy levels of cholesterol monitoring. So that is the key factor there. Dr. Haresh Kumar Kantilal is from the Faculty of Medicine at Masa University College in KL, Malaysia, joining us on this edition of Body and Soul, brought to you by abeilledor Chlorella. For more information, please call 6339 5045, 6339 5045.